Hey, good morning. Today we're going to talk about market research. We talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I wanted to touch on it a lot more because it's really important, especially if you want to start to find out more about what your marketplace is and your niche and everything else. Now, there's lots of places that you can do this, but my first suggestion is that you put on the old, what they call it, the investigation hat again. It's a little bit murky and overcast today, but you put on that investigation hat and you go to work. And what do I mean by that is that, you know, you start doing, let's say, I don't know, let's say you want to become a knitter or a seamstress or someone that repairs clothing. My auntie, she's a great example of that. She's actually a qualified hairdresser, but she's always been really good at doing things with her hands. And when I asked her one day, she said, oh, I just buy a lot of books and I do a lot of reading, and you know, I practiced and I used to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that from time to time, and then all of a sudden I seemed to get better and better, and then I moved forward and I started to experiment and make things a little bit bigger. You know, started to adjust dresses and make alterations and this, that and the other, and before you know it, she's really very, very good at what she does. I mean, if we get splits in our trousers or stuff like that, you know, you can take it to her and you know it's going to be, if you can say the word, seamless, because it is absolutely exceptional. Now, the reason I want to say that is because it didn't just happen overnight for her. She had to really find out how to do it. She had to associate with the right people, and at first she was lost. She's, you know, it's like anything. You know, you're thrown into the deep end, as I talked about yesterday, and she didn't really know much about it. So I guess that's the same from what I'm saying to you today, is that if your experience is a little bit, then you need to increase that experience. There's only one way you can do that, and that is by finding out as much as you possibly can about the marketplace that you want to go into. So there's several ways that you can do it, but one of the biggest ways is, first of all, is to find, you know, do some Google searches, find some related sort of areas that is going to make sense with what you're doing, because, you know, if you put in knitting, it might not be that you want to do knitting, but it might be that they have something that's related to that. So, you know, there's a lot of digging that you have to do. I mean, example would be copywriting. There's direct response copywriting, there's creative writing, there's writing for scripts, there's writing for films. You know, there's certain aspects of writing that you can use for everything, but what your target market is, or what your specific goal is at that time, is really important for you, because you don't want to be starting something and you're going in that wrong direction. So that's the first one. The second one is to get involved in some of these forums. There's lots of forums out there. In fact, there's thousands of them now. And what you can do is you can be like a fly on the wall. You can just sit there and you don't even interact. You can actually just listen to the conversations, or you can take part in looking at some of the, what they call it, the I can't remember what they're called there, but you know, read some of their feeds. That's it, the feeds, or the threads as they call it. Threads. I didn't want to use the word thread because I was talking about seamstress, but that's another story. Yeah, you can use some of the threads, and what that does is it basically, it will allow you to go in there. You can read about anything that's happening. So you can ask questions as well, which is a really good thing, because if you're not sure about something, ask the question. There's no such thing as a bad question. There really isn't. It's just the question that's never asked, and that is true. Because if your experience is limited, how do you think other people learn? I mean, Henry Ford, probably one of the most successful people that ever walked the planet, I would say, who invented the Henry Ford, the motor car, the V8 engine. He said, a newspaper article, they said to him about giving him questions, I think it was in court or something, and all these questions were just personal, just like little digs at him, and he said to him, these questions are what I come here to answer. He said, if these are the questions I come here to answer, he said, I might as well give up. He said, but if you ask him anything about my business, I have 5 or 6 buttons in front of me, and I can press any one of those buttons and get the information from someone to come up and give you exactly what you need. And I think that's really important, because if your association of the people that you're around is associated with what you want to achieve, then when you're stuck, you can get those results, you can get those answers, and that's really important as well. So it's 3 things, like Google searching, The next one is obviously forums, and the third one is to get associated with certain individuals. There's a lot more to it than that. I do a lot of this coaching, training courses and stuff. It is a lot of in-depth. So if it's something that you're interested in finding out more about, in the next 3 weeks or so, I think it's 4 weeks, I'll be having links up, so you can always pop on the page, jump on there, book yourself a call, and see where you're at, and we'll take it from there. Okay, I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye for now.